Hello YouTube, Jeff Steele here, and this is your Part 18 update of the current ammo and gun shortages in America, currently in year 2020. Got several things to talk about today. First things first is I heard in regards to the new FBI data that has been generated. The data showed that the month of August, year 2020, was the highest of gun and ammo sales ever recorded since they have been collecting the data. Think about that for a moment. Since the FBI has been collecting such data, the month of August 2020 was the highest they have ever recorded for ammo and firearm sales, most of which being new owners, whereby they have never purchased a firearm or ammunition ever. Very interesting, very valuable information to think about. Also, I'd like to discuss the increase in military activity from my own eyes. I'm 32 years old, and I can say that this year, year 2020, I have seen more military activity with my own two eyes, stateside here in the state of Georgia, than I have every other year of my life combined as a civilian here on U.S. soil. At the end of this video, I'm going to be adding in clips that I took of about 3 days ago of military helicopter activity all in one day. This is just one day. I have seen various brigades on Georgia highways going towards Atlanta. I have seen numerous military airplanes flying over. I've been seeing helicopters on a regular basis. What I saw about 3 days ago, where this is what I'm going to start doing when I see it, I'm going to start recording it just like I did 3 days ago, so you all believe me and I'm not just making this up. But I've been seeing a tremendous amount of the double prop helicopters, the troop carriers. The first helicopter I saw 3 days ago, it was a helicopter gunship. So it was the big double prop, had the big 50 caliber machine motor gun hanging off the front. So that was what they call a helicopter gunship. The second helicopter that I saw that day was an Apache fighter copter. And I know this is what it was because my old next door neighbor was a retired Marine Corps colonel, and he flew maybe it wasn't the Apaches, it was either an Apache or a Cobra fighter helicopter, one or the other. So that's the other. I have footage of both. I'll be adding those to the end of the video. But just been seeing a tremendous amount of military movements with my own two eyes. Now you might not be seeing this on regular news media sources, but I'm always interested in what people are seeing in their everyday walks of life. What are real people seeing, not the news reporters? Also been seeing a lot of large military transport vehicles, buses and such, moving various equipment and troops. There are a multitude of bases in the state of Georgia, and I'm sure they're just moving from one base to the other. There's also a lot of bunkers that you may or may not know. A lot of times they're not well marked, but they are military stations. Not necessarily a base, but a military station. And just a year or two, not far from where I live, they built a brand new military bunker. I know this because my friend worked for the grading company that the military contracted out to. And this bunker literally has shafts that go underground 200 plus feet deep and has various tunnels throughout the earth at 200 feet, or 200 feet down below the earth's surface. Now, he took pictures of all this. I'm sure he did this under the radar, but he worked for the grading company, did all the grading, all of the digging, the drilling, and everything. So when you drive by this facility, it's encased in high fence and razor wire. There's probably 200 plus Humvees, there's tanks. The above ground structure is not super large, But keep in mind, that's like an iceberg. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Most of the facility is underground. I'm sure there's various armories. It's a substation relay point for the various larger military bases, and it's brand new. So and that's only about 1 or 2 years old. So if you're not preparing, look at the military. The military is preparing. Shouldn't you prepare? Think about that as well. And something else in regards to revolutions. In 1860, year of the United States Civil War, things were really coming about during that year. They thought then nothing could happen. They really thought, no, we're better than that. We can reconcile this. They thought wrong. Also, during that time, families were divided on all levels. I'm seeing that right now. That is how I know what is going on is different. When your own family is being divided on multiple levels, and I'm not just seeing that with my family, I'm seeing that with many people I know with their families. Various YouTubers have talked about this, divides within their families. That is when you know things have surfaced, revolution is very near. And it may be such a slow process that there might not just be a clear sign that it's going on. Many people say that that's what happens. It's just such a slow process, and you're already in it before you ever knew you were even starting to be in it. So think about that. How is your family being divided? I'm sure that it is. Maybe you haven't noticed it, but I can assure you it is. Now let's move on to some comments. Al Wilson spoke about the candidates a little bit more and how they're not super big in the Second Amendments and big time hunters. I would definitely disagree with that. Let's look at Trump Jr. as an example. Trump Jr., like myself, grew up very young hunting with his grandfather, his mother's father, who was from the Czech Republic, and is a devout hunter and Second Amendment supporter. Devout. You can find all sorts of footage of him hunting and photos of him hunting online. Check it out for yourself. So absolutely devout. I have a lot in common with Trump Jr., I would say, because he grew up hunting with his grandfather, started hunting with his grandfather, as did I. So there is never a perfect candidate, remember that. But I think there is a candidate better than the other in this situation. Also, Gmar from Buffalo, New York, commented that it's a tough state to live in, the state of New York, may relocate to Texas. I would highly recommend Texas. It's a great state to choose. And as an American, I would absolutely say that the greatest states to live in are the states you are most free. No question about it. And in Texas, you are much more free than you are in New York. No question. So ask yourself that. I was very lucky. I was born in the great state of Georgia. We have, at this moment, things change, but at this moment we have extremely favorable firearms and ammunition laws here in this great state. I'm very thankful for that. I hope that remains the same. I hope they even improve. But always be ready to relocate, even if you have to leave your home. Sometimes you have to make that decision and follow through to be more free. There's nothing greater than freedom in this life, nothing. And he also commented that ammo is extremely hard to find. Even if you found 22 caliber ammo, he probably would not use it. Says that him and his father have been small game hunting with 22 caliber air rifles, and that is absolutely something that I want to get into. I've always had lesser value BB guns and air rifles, not too accurate, but I definitely want to buy a higher end air rifle. I'm really looking into 22 caliber magnums in the 1400 feet per second. I'm looking at the Gamo Magnum, matter of fact. I would like to have one. They say they're very accurate. He says he's hitting dimes at 35 yards with his. That's pretty great. Radon commented, the Democrats are going to rig the election with fraudulent mail-in ballots. This is very possible. I can absolutely tell you that no matter who wins the election, they are going to contest the results regardless. I have heard talks that we could go as far as into January 20 something, whereby the Congress has to select the president if it is not decided at that point. So be ready for that. It's going to happen. You will not know who your president is till then. What do I plan to do on election day? I'm going to do the mail-in ballot, no question about it, but I am also going to go in on election day to make sure they got my ballot. If they did not, I'll be voting again to make sure they got my vote. That is what I am planning to do. Diamo says that he is seeing 7.62 by 39 ammunition on occasion. I believe that's the AK-47 round. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's a great cartridge. Matthew McBride commented on another comment from a previous video, spoke in regards to look at the Crime Act of 1994, whereby Joe Biden single-handedly initiated that act, which had lots of restrictions on semi-automatics and magazine capacities. Check that out. Also, check out Joe Biden's stance on gun control and what his plans are. I encourage you all to look at both candidates' plans for gun control. What is my personal belief on gun control? I think the use of the trigger finger and or safety, that's about as far as it needs to go from my perspective. I really like the gentleman who owns I think he owns the Barrett 50 caliber firearms company. They make the automatic 50 caliber, and I believe his philosophy and his guidelines for conducting businesses, he will not sell to any type of enforcement agency unless that enforcement agency's given jurisdiction allows civilians also to purchase the same weapons. So unless the civilians in that area can purchase the same weapons, he will not sell to that enforcement agency. I really love that. That is fantastic. If only every munitions company behaved in such a way. And I'm going to quote Thomas Jefferson for a moment. And that is, our country was founded, the way it's organized was founded with the people in mind. It is supposed to be for the people and by the people. The people should always hold the keys to the power of our government. Think about that when you go to vote. He always said that a government should always fear the people that it represents. A people should never fear its government. I think there's very wise words there. So again, stay tuned in the video. Check out the helicopter footage I caught a couple of days ago. I'm going to start trying to add in some other footage as I see. Hopefully I can just get to the video camera as quickly as I can. But I'm going to keep these updates coming along. Check out other videos on the channel. We try to bring value in a variety of ways. Tap the subscribe button. The thumbs up button really helps the channel out a lot. Comment down below. Let everybody know what's going on in your area. Share this video. Other means of support, you can Cash App or PayPal. Thanks for watching.